There are. And trying to get my calendar. I know. We'll be at
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. If we could take our seats for our worship service this morning, please. Welcome, everyone. My name is Allie Carville, and I would like to welcome you to the University Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I will be your service leader this morning, along with our minister, Reverend Kathy Schmitz. We're a lay-led congregation, which means we have a variety of speakers who share many different ways of knowing and understanding what we mean by the beloved community, where every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. My pronouns are she, her. I am seated using a black wheelchair. I have blonde hair, white skin, and I'm wearing a black and orange top. If we could take a moment to make sure our cell phones and other devices are turned silent for our time together, that now would be that time. Thank you. For everyone's awareness, our emergency exits are the main entrance, which is the most accessible, and in the back there is a slight bump if you have mobility devices to step over. Thank you. I'd like to take a moment to welcome our guests and our online community. Let's now take a moment to look at the camera in the back of the room above the clock and wave and say hi. We welcome all of you. Now if we would like to take a moment to say hi to the guests in the room, and I will ding the bell when we're ready to come back. Thank you. It's lovely to be part of this congregation. If we now have our committee moments, if you have an announcement, you may come forward to the microphone.
Hi everyone, Tay with RE. So the first thing is on behalf of Colleen, if you would like any photos to be presented in our Mother's Day slideshow presentation next week, go ahead and submit those to admin@uuuf.org by, I believe, Wednesday at noon. Those are pictures of you with your mom, pictures with you with your kids, anything that you want to be shown during the Mother's Day slideshow next week. So that's the first thing. Today is the annual meeting, so we will be having childcare after for anyone who needs it. There will be pizza. We will watch movies and stuff, so if the kids need to be back with us for a while, that is totally okay. And then the new parent support group will be meeting, I believe, May 17th. Was the Sunday at the Oviedo Mall food court. So that is for parents after service, and you can all go eat, enjoy, talk to each other, and have a place where your kids can play and you can watch them as well. So that would be happening on May 17th at about 12:30-ish. So thank you.
Just Ann, on behalf of the board, we are having our annual meeting right after, so please stay, and Lori will tell you about the arrangements.
There's going to be a snack for everybody. So there's going to be chicken salad sandwiches, egg salad sandwiches, and then there's a vegan option, which is chickpea, cucumber, avocado, and roasted pepper. There's also grapes and cake, courtesy of Ann.
Good morning, Jill Vita for the Sisterhood. We had a lovely meeting here Friday at 6:30, and our next one will be June 5th, Friday, which is a Friday at 6:30. Oh, and also, there are a few spots left for the murder mystery dinner, which was part of the service auction. It's $40 a person, and that includes not only the dinner, but it includes the fun, and bring your costume, it includes cocktails, and it's here. So if you would like to purchase that, let Sarah know. And that's June 6th.
And now, we would like to welcome our newest members, Pam Angel and Hugh Jacobs, to our fellowship. Thank you for being a part with us. My opening words this morning are values prayer attributed after St. Francis. Make us instruments of your peace. Where there is indifference, may we bring justice. Where there is selfishness, may we bring equity. Where there is stagnation, may we bring transformation. Where there's homogeneity, may we bring pluralism. Where there is isolation, where we bring interdependence. Where there is greed, we bring generosity. And where there is hatred, we bring love. Make us instruments of your peace, within love, at the center of everything we do. May it be so.
I wanted to tell you a little bit about the hymn that we're going to sing. About 30 years ago, when I was in seminary, I had a chance to do a summer workshop, week-long summer workshop, with Carolyn Dade, who's the author of this hymn and several other hymns in our hymnal. And I am not a singer. You may have noticed I step away from the mic when singing happens. But it was a wonderful week. And she told a story about this hymn that has really stuck with me, and I think it fits with our topic today. After she had written it, it became very popular, and she thought, this is kind of sappy. And she didn't really like it anymore. But then she was doing a workshop in a women's prison. And this is a song about hope. And she said they sang with such depth and feeling that it transformed the song for her. And so I've always remembered that when I sing this, because sometimes we can be a little casual about hope, But for some people, hope is a real lifeline. And in these times when we are challenged to find hope, may we remember all the people who are in need of hope in our world. So will you join me in singing Come Sing a Song With Me, number 346 in your hymnals. I don't see one.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Thank you all. Now is the time for lighting of our chalice, and our chalice lighters this morning with Tay are Eva and Joe. They are 4 and 7 years old. They both use she, her pronouns, and they are they went to Harry Potter World. All right. Help me light the thing. We're trying to get the matches going one moment.
Trying really hard not to.
Stand by. We're getting it even, Joe. There we go. Eva. Yeah. Here we go. You got it. I got it. Oh, so close. Oh, goodness. We will get this.
Good things are worth the wait.
Spirit of the chalice is within us, right? And the fire within us. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Look at this. There. Ooh. All right. All right. We're getting it, folks. We got it. Yay. Let us now join in with the words of lighting our chalice, followed by our affirmation. In the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. And now our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to truth and love, and to help one another. Oh, thank you all for sticking it in with us. Now is time for our joys and concerns. Please come to the microphone or raise your hand, and we will bring it to you if you have something to share. Please do remember we are live streaming, so share accordingly. Thank you.
Paula and I were married on May 1st of 1988, so it was our 38th wedding anniversary. And we're going to keep it going.
And I wanted to share something else. This is not part of the anniversary thing. This doesn't happen in my life every day, but one of the people at the gym was telling me that her husband, I'm like, where's your husband? He's usually here in the pool with you. And she's like, he doesn't feel good. He sat down and he says, I've got no energy. I can't do this today. And that's not like him at all. And it was a very sudden onset of this thing. I said, I don't know, I'm not a medic. I don't know what's wrong with him, but it's something dire. I bet you it's something, one of those life-threatening deals, and I think that you should skip the pool today and take him straight to the ER. She did. And he had a blood clot in his lung. And so I got to be part of saving somebody's life, and this doesn't happen to me every day. So I find myself still moved by the whole idea that whoever you are, it matters who you are. It matters that you connect with people and share with them. It matters.
Hi, Alyssa here. So my dad just had a pretty big surgery the other day. We found out the surgery was getting moved up 2 weeks ago, so shout out to my fiance. We dropped everything and went up to see him before the surgery. She accompanied me down home to Naples to see him before he went in. He's going to have a little bit of a recovery ahead. He's a very proud person, and he doesn't like being perceived as being sick, or needing help, yes. So it's going to be a little bit of a road to recovery, so just kind of keep him in your thoughts.
I'm Ann. I have two joys and a concern. Well, my first joy is that I have all three of my girls here present. And the reason that I have that is that Maddie is graduating from Seminole State tomorrow with her bachelor's degree. So we are very excited for her. So my concern is for my friend Dave. Dave is a friend of ours that we made when we moved to Syracuse a long time ago, 24 years ago or whatever. Dave is a Spirit pilot, and so I'm thinking about him and the 17,000 other people who not only lost their jobs on Saturday morning, but Dave texted me last night that their benefits also end at midnight. So they have no health insurance as of today. So, and all those other things. Dave's near that retirement age, so it's a really difficult time to start a new career. So just keeping all of them in your thoughts and prayers.
Good morning, everyone. I have both a joy and a concern. On May 1st, Melissa and I celebrated our 4th anniversary. So we've got 34 more to go to catch up to you guys. And that brings me to my concern. She's not here with me today because she broke down with a really bad case of shingles yesterday. So she's at home right now, and she said, "You better turn and wave at the camera this morning because I'll watch it." So yeah, shared the concern. So my concern is that she gets well soon.
Good morning. My joy is becoming a member here. I've been coming for, I guess, on and off for 2 years, and it's just nice to be home. And my, not concern, but sadness is that I will see you all in about 6 months. I'll be trying to get on Zoom occasionally, but we leave in a couple of weeks for Vermont. So, see you in November.
So I have a concern that turned into a joy. My dad, if you may know, is 96 years old. He had surgery the other day, minor surgery. It was just a squamous cell cancer that had to be removed with a skin graft, which, by the way, they did with fish skin, which I thought was crazy. New technology. But anyway, after the surgery, his heart rate dropped into the 30s. They got concerned. They kept him overnight. He's doing great. He amazes me every time. Every time I think it's over, it's not. So I've steeled myself for this probably about 14 times in the last couple of years, and he pulls through. So that's my joy. My concern is that Chase is sick today. So if you're looking for him, he's home hacking his brains out.
Hello, my name is Mike. I'm new here. I've been to Unitarian churches before, but this is my first time in this congregation and this church in many years, actually. I have a couple concerns for my mom, dealing with several things, and I just want to give her strength to deal with those new challenges and some ongoing challenges, and also I have a personal unspoken concern.
And at this time, Maryland, London, pastoral care, during this time I'm reminded to remind you that we have a basket with cards and an envelope, a plastic bag to put the ones in that you would like me to mail for you. All you have to do is put the person's name on the envelope, and I'll do the rest to see that they get it for whatever joy or concern you may wish to acknowledge.
Joey Cole. I've been out for a couple of weeks because I did a humongous road trip, driving to Maryland. I was there for a couple of days, and then driving to Massachusetts after that, and then back from Massachusetts to Maryland, and Maryland to here. My back is really feeling it, but I was able to have my husband's ashes interred in a national cemetery in Massachusetts. He was a 100% disabled vet. And it was a very short ceremony, and we had his family there. It was short, but it was very solemn and yet lovely, if that makes sense. And I feel like we've come full circle now, and I'm feeling much more. I'm happy that part is done. And anyway, I just wanted to say it's good to be back.
My joy is that I went to Harry Potter World because it was my birthday.
There we go. Thank you all for sharing your joys, your concerns, and anything on your heart. Excuse me. Now is the time for all ages with Reverend Kathy.
Our story this morning comes from a book called A Lamp in Every Corner, and it's by Janine K. Grossmeyer, and it's from our Unitarian Universalist publishing house, Skinner House. It's titled The Excruciatingly Scrupulous Twins. I don't think it's a true story, but you can decide. We'll ask the triplets. Once upon a time, not so very long ago, in a place not so very different from our own, there lived a pair of twins, Tim and Tom. And they looked exactly the same hair, same eye color, same weight, same height. They wanted everything else in their lives to be exactly the same too. So Tom and Tim were always fair with each other, excruciatingly, scrupulously fair. Everything simply had to be fair. If Tom got a new pencil, Tim had to have a new pencil, same length, same color, same sharpness. If Tim got a new skateboard, Tom had to have a new skateboard. Why don't you take turns? Asked their father. But taking turns was not the same as having your own, which meant it wasn't fair. The twins were always careful to be fair, excruciatingly, scrupulously fair. In the morning at breakfast time, they counted every cornflake in their bowls to make sure they had the exact same number. They measured exactly half cup of milk for their cereal, and if Tim had 3 strawberries, Tom had to have 3 strawberries, even though Tom didn't really like strawberries, and the strawberries had to be exactly the same size. Oh yes, they were fair. Why don't you share, asked their mother. But sharing wasn't the same as having, and it certainly wasn't fair, and the twins knew about sharing. They slept in the same bedroom, and they had to share that, so that they did excruciatingly and scrupulously. They put a line of tape down the exact center of the bedroom to split the room in half. One side of the room had a dresser, a bed, and a desk, and the other had a dresser, a bed, and a desk. Same size, same color, same kind. Luckily, the line went through the center of the door, so they could both get in and out of the room without crossing the line, even if they did have to turn sideways, not breathe, and suck. On one side of the room, there was a window, and on the other, there wasn't, so that wasn't fair. But sometimes, no matter how hard they tried to make everything in their lives excruciatingly, scrupulously fair, they couldn't. Tom could run faster. Tim could do cartwheels. Tom was good at math. Tim was good at spelling. Didn't seem to make any difference how much they exercised or how hard they studied. They weren't identically the same, and that wasn't fair. Life isn't fair, said their father. But that wasn't, well, fair. Things ought to be fair and even and equal, only they weren't. And neither were their parents. Go study your spelling, said their mom the night before a spelling test, but she said it only to Tom. Why doesn't Tim have to study? Tom said, because he already knows all the words. His mother reminded him, that's not fair. You're right, his mom said, and that's the way it is, so go study. You failed the last spelling test, remember? Tom did remember. That had been the test with all those I before E words, except there were also a couple tricky ones with E before I. Spelling was stupid anyway, who cared? Now go study, said his mother. His mom cared, his dad cared, his teacher cared, so Tom got out his spelling book and thumped it down on the table, but he didn't open it. He poked at the book with his pencil and stared gloomily at the wall. Tim sat down at the table too, but he had a picture to color instead of homework to do. Tom made faces at him and Tim made faces right back, so that was fair. But it didn't make Tom feel any better. He opened his book to the right page and poked at it with a pencil. This week it was words with silent ease. It was still stupid. You want some help? Offered Tim. Tom looked up in surprise. You'd help me? Well, yeah, sure, if you want. But you already did your spelling homework. It wouldn't be fair if you had to do spelling again. His brother shrugged. That's okay. I don't mind helping you. Well, thanks, said Tom. And hey, 2 days from now we have a math test, so tomorrow I can help you. Hey, yeah, said Tim. That's right. He grinned. That'll make it fair. It would be fair tomorrow, But even more than that, Tom decided, it was nice right now. And maybe, Tom decided, maybe sometimes it was more important to be nice than it was to be always excruciatingly, scrupulously fair.
Thank you, Reverend Kennedy. Now is the time for interlude and offering. We share 40% of our offering with a charitable organization selected by our Social Action Committee. This quarter, we are sharing with the American Civil Liberties Union, whose mission is to defend and preserve the individual rights and liberties guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution for all people. Our offering will now be received as Alicia plays music. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let us now sing our children to their religious education classes. As always, children and youth are welcome to stay with us in service. Let us now sing. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day.
Good morning. It has been said that it's best when there's a place for everything and everything in its place. Unitarian Universalist Jennifer Pratt Walter has a reflection on that, titled No Place. There is not a place for everything. Hate, racism, corporate greed, the spoiling of Mother Earth. Everything is not in its place. Justice, equality, freedom, compassion, love. The place within our collective hearts and minds is where these things need to live. Where do you keep your love? Invite love in. Make a place for love. the others will follow. And now, a short prayer from Unitarian Universalist Hilary Allen. Gracious One, Spirit of love and life, keep watch on the innovators, the trailblazers, the takers of risk. Invite us to be persons of vision and integrity. Help us to remember the mystery from which possibility is born. Lead us to honor the sacred space where ministries, idealists, and realists meet. Encourage us to imagine more than just what is. Fill our hearts in times of discouragement. Keep our eyes on the long now. Through our efforts, let us know the fruits of connection and a deeper faith. May this be so. My daughters, who, just to be clear, are used to being sermon material, have been different since the moment they were born. Yet they've shared many things. They're almost 2 years apart. One of the most impactful moments of understanding for me about their individual uniqueness came when my second daughter was in kindergarten. In those days, when you went to kindergarten, you wore a piece of yarn with a construction paper circle on it and had your phone number. And you had to wear that until you had memorized your phone number. How many people here had to do that? Anybody? Yeah, I don't think that they do that anymore. I think somehow advertising people's phone numbers isn't a thing. Also, would it be mom's phone number or anyway, so when Pam, my eldest, was in kindergarten, we would, while we were driving in the car, sing the phone number. And she quickly learned it. 2 years later, Ricky was in the car, we would sing the phone number, and she was not getting it. It's like, what is wrong with this child? And then one day we were playing the card game Concentration. Right? You lay out all the cards and upside down, and then you turn them over and try to find pairs. And she was kicking my butt. She was really good at it. And all of a sudden I said, wait a minute. And I grabbed a piece of paper and a pencil and I wrote down our phone number. And I said, read this phone number to me. And she did. And I took the paper away. I said, read it again. And she did. After looking at me like I was insane for a moment. She learned differently than her sister. Something that would be useful for me to know for the next 12 or so years. Actually, we're up to 42 now. This difference in people extends far beyond our learning abilities. A quote generally attributed incorrectly to Albert Einstein is, everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Right? How often do we judge people or things or circumstances by a standard that makes no sense? Sometimes it's something innate about us that differentiates us. You're a fish, she's a monkey. One of us learns by hearing, another learns by seeing. Sometimes it's something innate about us that differentiates us, but other times it's our circumstances. During the pandemic 6 years ago, a quote from a Scottish writer and broadcaster named Damien Barr made this point. We're not all in the same boat. We are all in the same storm. Some are on super yachts. Some have just the one oar. This reminds us that while we have our differences and commonalities, The way the world treats us also has its commonalities and differences, which brings us to this month's Unitarian Universalist value, equity. Equity is one of the 6 values that surrounds love in the newest articulation of who we are. And I believe we have a slide for that. There you go. We've already focused on transformation and pluralism and generosity and interdependence. And later this month, this being a month with 5 Sundays, so you get me twice, we'll finish the series with justice. But love is at the center of all we do. Now, our 2024 description of equity states this way. We have that slide also, Miguel. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. I would like to point out, and this is similar in all of the values, is that first there's a declaration or a statement, and then there's sort of a therefore, right? We covenant. This thing, we think this is true. Therefore, that calls us to do something. That's what I'd like to talk about. At some level, this seems straightforward. It mirrors the first of the 7 principles in which we covenanted to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. If we go deeper, I think we can see the challenge of this value. We declare that every person is inherently worthy. All people? Even them? They have the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. What does it mean to declare that they have the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion, no less? Can you think of one person in your life or in the world who makes this a challenge for you? That is why I have always thought of these sorts of statements as aspirational, as guiding stars that show the way, rather than actual achievements, as our starting point. When I meet you, my assumption is this, and then I work on it after that. Now, the second part of the statement also is interesting to look at a little further. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Are we willing to commit our time, wisdom, attention, and money? Or do we just think that someone should, preferably someone else? Or will we be willing to learn new ways to be in the world, ways that create and enhance accessibility and inclusion? Or do we kind of like things the way they are? Again, I think this is a challenge, and it's a challenge that we'll have the opportunity to rise to over and over again, because we are always in process, never perfect. So this brings me to the end of everything I feel certain about. The rest are things I wonder about. And so I wonder if you will join me in pondering how and when and if and where we might meet these challenges. The Reverend Dr. Sherry Prudhomme is a faculty member at our Unitarian Universalist Seminary in Berkeley, California, Star King School for the Ministry. She's an associate professor of religion and education. In considering this with respect to our congregations, she writes this: "We understand there is a mandate emerging from our theological heritage to dismantle the structures and systems which silence, harm, and exploit human beings and the various ecosystems of our planet, as well as to work to create just and sustainable communities without barriers to belonging in our communities for all those who share our values and theological perspectives. We understand that it is ours to do, to use our time and wisdom and attention and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities where every person can flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. That is what we are called to by our heritage. Now, I want to talk about Jonathan Haidt. Jonathan Haidt is a social psychologist, and he and Jesse Graham came up with a moral foundations theory. And for those of you who were in the discussion a couple of weeks ago about talking across the divide, we discussed their work. It's called moral foundations theory. And it talks about the ways that people who tend to be liberal tend to look at the world differently from people who tend to be conservative. And on one of those, after their original work was published, they needed to go back in and tweak something, and it was the value of fairness. They had said in their original work that while this whole set of values were appreciated by everyone across the political spectrum, people who tended to be liberal valued care and fairness stronger than the other values. And sometimes that makes sense. But when they went back, the conservatives saw this, they said, no, we believe in fairness too. But we define fairness a little differently. And so, the psychologists redefined their fairness value. And there are two different ways of looking at fairness. See which one you might consider. Equality is intuitions about equal treatment and equal outcomes for individuals. Equality as a guide for fairness. The other is proportionality. Intuitions about individuals getting rewarded in proportion to their merit or contribution. See the difference between those, right? So one is about equal treatment and equal outcomes, and the other is about people being rewarded. That would be what would make something fair in proportion to their merit, and we can discuss how we discuss merit, or we define merit, or their contribution. So this is, you can, if you think that's what defines fair, either one of these, and you're talking to someone who has a different understanding of what is fair, you're going to talk right past each other. So sometimes, so what do you mean when you say fair? What makes something fair? So this brings me to a series of slides I want to share with you. So how many of you have seen the graphic that shows the difference between equity and equality with people standing on boxes? Okay, so a lot of you have seen that. Well, it turns out there's a rabbit hole associated with it, and you can spend a lot of time in that rabbit hole, so come on down. So this is actually the original. It is not the first one that I saw, but I found an article by the original creator, and this is the one he created, and he was surprised to find Jonathan Haidt using it. But it's not surprising, right? In the slide on the left, we see the three children of different heights all standing on the same box. They are equal. That's fair, right? To a liberal who is more concerned with outcomes and access, the boxes are redistributed so that everyone can see the game. So one is you all had the same resource, one is you all had the same opportunity. Now, the great part about this is it has been morphed endlessly. So here's an expansion of the original in which we add a third slide in which we replace the fence that they're all trying to look over with a chain link fence that everyone can see through. An interesting note here is that no boxes are needed by anyone. So then, somebody, a racial justice group created, had a cartoonist move it from basic graphic to a cartoon. So here we have with the basic original. But then somebody said, you know what we really have now? We need to look at what the current system is. And this is what they found, where that person with the most height to begin with got the most support in looking over the fence. And then we moved on to equality, equity, reality, which not only now we have lots and lots of boxes for the tallest person to stand on, but we actually have a hole for the shortest person to stand on. And then in this case, there's no chain link fence. Liberation is how it's been titled, is having no fence at all. Okay. So I think probably the most fun thing I found in the rabbit hole was this page, which you don't have to be able to read it all, but it's a worksheet. It shows equality, equity, and liberation from the previous slide, and now it says, has a little box, 4 boxes for you to cut out and create your own. So this is not somebody owning this graphic, it is a creation. I will say the author who created the first image, he's delighted that people have changed it in so many ways. His only slightly miffed about one group who made a slight change and then put their own watermark on it. It's like, really? Let's share. So this says, you don't have to love this particular version. You can create your own version. So here's some that go from looking at ball games to more life. This one had to do with health, and these people are reaching up for apples, but the same basic concept. But there is one particular change here that matters. Does anybody see what it is besides that they're picking apples? There's extra boxes, yeah. So in the earlier ones, let's see if I did this. Yes, the earlier ones, the first two, we are not, we have the same amount of resources, it's how they're distributed. Whereas in this one, we've actually had to add new resources. So when we talk about these things, right, there's a distribution question, and there's, do we really have as scarce resources as we think we do? Could we maybe create more resources? And also, going back to that other one, do you see that when we go to liberation, we actually are using fewer resources all around? I'll just, could do a whole side thing about if we had solar energy. But, okay, that's my husband's thing. Okay. Yeah, we're already down one rat hole. All right, so here's another one that I liked. This is not more resources, it's different resources, and I like the idea of we're trying to get every child to be able to access the library books. Seems like a lovely opportunity. So some people, I'm not going to go into all the critiques, but there were some real critiques of all of these. But one of them had to do with heightism, okay? And this brings me back to my daughters. When my daughters were little, they were predetermined to be short because of the genetics. And so we had this storybook, and there was a little creature, I think it was a mouse, that did great things. And she would say, after doing something, say, I may be small, but I act tall. And the girls loved this book, but then I realized now, years later, it's like, well, that sort of implies tall people are better. So I need to apologize to them for that. But that was one of the critiques, is it's not about your innate abilities, who you are, it's about the circumstances that you are in. So this person, who happened to be a bicycle enthusiast, created this one, which I like. So in this first one, you see everybody got the same bike, but it only worked for one person, the middle-sized person. Being a middle-sized person, I'm good with that. But equity meant different sized bikes and different types of bikes, depending on people's needs. And then somebody took this one further and said, the terrain matters. Right? And so not only does our first kid get an appropriately sized bike, but he gets a mountain bike because he's on rougher terrain. And our person at the bottom not only has a chair, but now a motorized chair. And then to get it really to the real world and something a lot of us have experienced, the last image that we have is thinking about, curb cuts, right? Or to me, the prime example most of us know about universal design. Right? In the first one, everybody's got to take a step off of a curb, and that works for some and not others. But in the other one, everyone is getting what they need based on the barriers, circumstances, and conditions. And so I think that this just encourages us to think differently about how we come up with solutions for things. So it's not the end of the conversation, it's the beginning of our pondering together. It's an invitation to consider the two lines of our values statement. So first, reflect. Do you believe, in theory and in practice, that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion? Put another way, who do you think is deserving of having what they need to flourish? Do you think people deserve what they need to flourish? Do they need to earn it? If you find some exceptions, what would it take to expand your understanding? And for our second, are you willing to use your time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities? Put another way, how will you live out your values? And what will you do to make this community and the world the place that we dream of, that we know is possible? Over the next week, I invite you to watch your own thoughts and actions. How many boxes do you use? What do you think about the boxes that others use? Notice, just notice, if you will, where your lived reality matches your aspirations. And allow this value of equity to challenge you and to inspire you in all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Kathy. Now time for extinguishing of our chalice. Please join me as we extinguish the chalice. Extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now for our closing music, hymn 131, Love Will Guide Us, led by Martha and Alicia Tran.
I think she'll do. There we go.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us, will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, love will guide us, will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Well done. Thank you.
Amen. And now closing words, bridged words of Andrea Hawkins Camper, Be About the Work. May we see all as it is, and may it all be as we see it. May we be the ones to make it as it should be. For if not us, who? If not now, when? This is the answering cry of justice with the work of peace. To be a people of intention and a people of conscience. To be about the work of building the beloved community. May it be so. And now our postlude, Lean on Me, performed by Alicia Tran. Alicia. Now you may have a coffee and conversation over here. For 10 minutes. Thank you, Martha. And then we will return for our annual meeting. Thank you.